All right. So any questions on cones? Yesterday we talked about volume of a cone. 1/3 pi r squared h. Okay. So today we're talking about volume of spheres. Remember, a sphere is just like a ball. This. Do I know the formula? It's 4/3 pi r cubed. Four-thirds pi r cubed. That's the volume formula for a sphere. Okay? So if, for example, you have, say you have a orange, you know that orange is 4 inches across. Then the volume would be 4/3 pi times 2. That's it, super easy. This is 4/3 pi times 8, which is 32/3 pi cubic inches. So it's a decimal, this would be 32 pi divided by 3. Right. So you get 33.5 cubic inches. Okay. Other things they might do, they might say, instead of finding volume of a sphere, they might say find the volume of a hemisphere. Half a sphere, that's easy too. So suppose you have a hemisphere with diameter 26.3 centimeters. Weird like that. So the first thing you would do is cut that in half to get the radius, right? So if this is the diameter, that means that R would be 13.15. So the volume here would be 4/3 pi times 13.15 cubed. So they would say, like, find the answer to the nearest hundredth or something. So you gotta make sure you know how to enter the stuff on your calculator. 4/3 pi times 13.15 cubed. That. So it's 9525.02 to the nearest hundred.
That's divided by 2.
Oh yeah, thanks. Divided by 2. Good eye. So divided by 2. So it would be 4762.51. 4762.51. So that's one thing they might do. They might give you the radius of the diameter and ask you to find volume of a hemisphere. Another thing that is a common thing is instead of giving you volume or the radius, they might give you the volume. Ask you to find the radius or the diameter or something like that. So like, for example, find the diameter of a sphere whose volume is, let's just say, 206.3 cubic feet. So we have this formula, V equals 4/3 pi r cubed. Now V, 206.3, equals 4/3 pi r cubed. So now it's just a matter of doing some algebra. So there's a few things you could do. I think the easiest thing would just be to divide by 4/3 pi. But you have to be really careful when you do this on your calculator that you include parentheses where needed. So if you do this, if I take 206.3 divided by, and I'm going to use parentheses just to make sure I'm dividing by everything I'm supposed to be dividing by, 4 pi 3. That. Right? So that left-hand side now is 49.250. 49.250. But I didn't erase it from my calculator because I don't want to round too much or too soon. How do I solve for R now? Cube root, yeah. So R would be the cube root of that number, 49.250, whatever. So on my calculator, there's multiple ways to do cube root on these calculators. On your calculator, you have to figure out how to do it. If you need help, I can help you. Bless you. If you need help, I can help you. But on this calculator, I would just do math, and then the fourth choice down is cube root. So I could do 4, that's the cube root of the previous answer. So I haven't rounded anything. Get an answer, 3.6655. But then this question says, find the diameter. So I just have to double this now since this is the radius. So the diameter is equal to approximately. And let's say we want it to the nearest hundredth again. I just multiply this by 2. And I get 7.33. Then the units would be feet because the volume was in cubic feet. So this is going to be feet. Okay? Another thing they might do is instead of giving you the diameter or the radius, they might give you like surface area or something like that. So for example, suppose they said, find volume of a sphere whose surface area is 25 pi. Square yards. So what do you do here? I can't hear. I'm sorry. I can't hear.
Yes, I know.
Yes. So how do you do that? What's the formula for surface area? Does anybody remember? The orange? Say it again.
Yeah, the R one.
4 pi r squared. Remember the little orange thing I had? Or actually, I used a tennis ball. In other years, I've used an orange peel. But if you have an orange and you cut it into quarters, one piece of that football-shaped orange peel has the same area as a circle of the same size. That's what I remember in my brain. It helps me. I don't know why. But so it's 4 pi r squared. So you would say 4 pi r squared equals 25 pi. Divide both sides by 4 pi, which is going to cancel the pi part of it. So now I have r squared equals 25 fourths. So r would be 5 halves, right? You can square root the top and square root the bottom, 5 halves. Now you have r, so the volume would be 4/3 pi times 5 halves cubed. 4/3 pi r cubed. So suppose this answer they wanted in terms of pi, exact answer in terms of pi. This would be 4/3 pi times, you can cube the top and cube the bottom, so you get 125/8. So I can make this a little bit simpler by reducing, like the 4 and the 8 can be reduced. But then 125 is not divisible by 6 at all. There's no simplification possible. So if they wanted this answer in terms of pi, you would say 125/6 pi. I just multiplied both denominators and multiplied both numerators. That would be the answer. But what would be the units here? Yards cubed, right? Right? This is in square yards because it's surface area. This would be cubic yards because it's in its volume. Okay, so there's lots of variations here. They could give you radius, diameter. They could give you volume and ask you to find the radius of the diameter. They could ask you about hemispheres instead of spheres, just cut it in half. Or they could give you something like this, where they give you something else entirely like the surface area, and still your goal is to figure out the radius. Any questions about that stuff? 4/3 pi r cubed. That's the deal. All right, that's all I got. So the homework is on Delta Math. Oh, I almost forgot. There's a quiz tomorrow. The homework's on Delta Math, and it's just on volume of spheres. There's a quiz tomorrow, and it's just on the stuff we talked about last week. So the quiz tomorrow is on volume of prisms, cylinders, and pyramids. Okay, so the prism formula, remember, is just B times H. The cylinder is pi r squared times H, excuse me, and the pyramid is 1/3 pi r squared, or 1/3 BH, sorry. 1/3 B times H. Those are the 3 formulas you need to know for tomorrow's quiz.
Will it be like the one from the homework where there's the simple ones?
Yeah, when I do the quizzes on Delta Math, I just go to the homework thing and I just select the same types of questions. Okay. Any questions? Okay.